back like we never left. It's Double Move Sports. And today we are going head-to-head in a mock draft battle. As always, I'm Stef Albiero. You can follow me on Twitter at BigBabyStef. And I got my homie, my partner in crime here when it comes to this fantasy thing. It's Alex Lott. That's AlexLott13 on Twitter. Say what's up to the people.
Steph, I think it's actually A-Lot13, but, I got like 2 followers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If you really want to find us, follow us at Double Move Sport on Twitter. Unfortunately, they cut off the last S because of character requirements, so that's a real shame. But follow us at Double Move Sport on Twitter. Subscribe here on YouTube. This is going to be awesome. We have our first mock draft battle of the year. Me and Steph have drafted previously on the same team. This time we're actually going to be going head-to-head, and after the show, I want you to drop in the comments who you think ended up with the better team. This is going to be full PPR, quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, and a flex with 6 bench spots. We actually don't know where we're going to be drafting when we start this thing. It is going to be randomized, so we're going to have to figure out on the fly what our strategy is going to be. Steph, when you are ready, I will hit this start draft button, and we will figure out where we are picking.
The only thing I know is that you're going to take Tyler Higbee in like the 5th round, and I feel great about that. Let's get started.
Hey, whatever. We'll see. All right, I'm hitting start draft. Let's go.
Let's go.
Wow, looks like I got the 3rd pick, and you got the 5th pick, Steph. So this thing is going to be starting here in 20
Snipe
seconds
season.
or so. I feel great about my pick, Steph. I think you're going to have a tough time if McCaffrey, Saquon, Kamara, and Zeke go off the board. I guess it's between Michael Thomas and Dalvin Cook at that point, but we'll see how this thing falls.
Yeah, I'm going to hate this if I'm stuck with Dalvin Cook here, but we'll see if I can get a name. Maybe like maybe Kamara will fall to me. We'll see.
He won't because I'm picking before you. All right, McCaffrey and Barkley off the board at the 1-2 like we would expect. At the 103 here, I love Alvin Kamara. I love going running back in the first round this season. So I'm going to go ahead and take
Zeke.
Alvin Kamara, start out hot with a running back. I feel great about that. Wow, Steph, you just got lucky.
I just got so lucky. The fact that you didn't take Zeke and then somebody just took Michael Thomas at the 104. So now we're up to me. And I mean, this is easy one. I'm here at the 105, and I'm getting Ezekiel Elliott. That should be the 103. So thank you for that gift.
Shame.
Thank you for
That's
that
a real
layup.
shame for me.
That is absolutely brutal. I know we probably thought the 4 was going to be Zeke, but I will take Zeke gladly here every day of the week.
Wow, you just got blessed. Team number 4, what are you doing? All right, wow, a lot of players coming off the board here. Looks like after Zeke, we saw Josh Jacobs go at the 106. That is early.
Wow.
Dalvin Cook at the 107, Derrick Henry at the 108. And then we saw Hopkins, Chubb, Devontae Adams, and Joe Mixon close out the first round. In round 2, Julio Jones, Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Kenyon Drake, Chris Godwin, and Devin Singletary.
What is going on?
At the 207. Wow.
All right, so back to me now. I already have Zeke.
Devin Singletary at the 207.
Look, this one is actually so easy for me, and if you've been listening to this show for any period of time, you already know my pick here. It's CEH a million times out of a million. I'm not even going to talk about it more. I'm not scared of Damian Williams, who is competing with carries with LaShawn McCoy. He's going to get the passing work. His measurable profile is Mark Ingram with, jet-packed thrusters on the back of his legs. Like, this guy's just fantastic. He's elusive. Maybe not the fastest guy. He's not a burner like Damian Williams kind of is, but he's still going to be able to do everything else that they're going to ask him to on, one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the league on the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm taking CEH here to stack with Zeke, and I feel great. Two elite running back talents on great offenses. After I took CEH, Aaron Jones was taken to the 209, who I did consider.
Oh, man, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, man, you just got sniped there, but who are you taking now that you got Kamara and you're back here at the 210?
Oh, that sucks. Aaron Jones is in my top 10 running backs, so to get him to pair with Alvin Kamara would have been insane. I'm tilting pretty hard right now. I'm looking at the running backs on the board. It's Fournette, Gurley, Carson, Melvin Gordon. None of those guys really excite me here. Lamar and Mahomes are there. I'm not considering a quarterback this early. At receiver, Allen Robinson and Kenny Golladay are a little bit tempting. But I've talked about this before on the show, Steph. I've said at the back of the second round, if Travis Kelce's on the board, I would take him. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and go ahead and take Travis Kelce here at the 210.
Yeah, 210's incredible value. And then there you see George Kittle goes off the board. 3 picks later. So after you grabbed Kelce, we had Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Lamar Jackson, and then George Kittle. So now back to you at the 303. You have Alvin Kamara and Travis Kelce. So what's your thought process here? Are you going running back before a major tier drop off, or are you going to try to grab one of those studly wide receivers?
There's really 3 things I'm looking at. For the sake of the mock, like I just took Travis Kelce and Mahomes is available here. How fun would Mahomes and Kelce be to stack alongside Alvin Kamara? I'm not going to do it because my team would probably suck elsewhere, but man, that's tempting. It's tough because as far as tiers go, like Allen Robinson, I have right now as my wide receiver 6, and I have Kenny Golladay as my wide receiver 7, where Todd Gurley is my RB 13. So as far as value goes, I like the receivers more in terms of my ranking, but at the running back spot, if I don't take Todd Gurley here, I'm probably staring down Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, or God forbid, Mark Ingram as my running back 2, which I don't feel great about. Oh, that's tough. There are a lot of good receivers later. I think on the next turn, I think I can scoop up, 2 players in that Keenan Allen, Courtland Sutton, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark type tier. So I'm actually going to roll the dice here. I'm going to go Todd Gurley. I think the Falcons are going to use him a lot this season on that 1-year deal. I don't know what his long-term outlook is like in a dynasty-type league, but for redraft, I think Gurley is a great pick. I'm going to go ahead and lock him up to put Alvin Kamara and Todd Gurley as my running backs. I'm feeling great about that.
Yeah, Todd Gurley as like an RB2, if you don't, grab a running back in the second round, I think is fantastic. There's going to be plenty of passing work for him too. And the Falcons didn't improve a ton on the defensive side of the ball, so it should be pretty generous game scripts. And there is no reason at all that the Falcons need to preserve that need for Todd Gurley. So I really like that pick. He's kind of the last one in a major tier drop-off right after him. And after you took Todd Gurley, DJ Moore was taken by that team between us. And now back to me.
Steph, I want to chime in really quickly before your pick. I'm just sitting here. It's the 305. So there's been, 28 picks so far. And only 8 receivers are off the board. And 7, 8, 9. There's like 16 or 17 running backs off the board. So that just shows you the importance of taking running backs early this season. If you were to wait on running backs, like there's a team sitting there with DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill right now, and as fun as that is, they're looking at, mid to low end RB2s as their running back 1 and 2. So there's a lot of running backs off the board early, so it's good. I feel good, and you probably feel good about having our RB1 and RB2 spot locked up.
I really do. And really, the only thing I have to say here, I mean, for me, the pick is probably going to be Allen Robinson, but Mahomes is there staring at me, and that's pretty tempting.
305, yeah.
Yeah, that's decent value. I mean, my rule this year is if Lamar Jackson falls past the 301, I'm grabbing him. Obviously, he was already taken. Mahomes is one of those. It's kind of like Kelce and Kittle, where when one gets taken, the other is going to go shortly after. Just for the sake of providing value here and also kind of playing to my strategies that I have pre-draft, I am not going to take Mahomes. If you're sitting here saying, what the hell is he doing? He needs to grab Mahomes right now. By all means, that is a fair point, and I would not debate you too much there. But I'm going to grab Allen Robinson.
Roast Steph in the comments if that's the case. Please, I want to see that happen.
For Allen Robinson, though, I mean, you have him at the 6. I have him at the 6, and he is our consensus wide receiver 6. So very rarely do we actually agree in our census rankings where we statted out every single team, every single position on the offensive side of the ball and all the skill positions. So when we look at it that way, it's like I'm getting incredible value here. Kenny Golladay, we have him at our consensus wide receiver 7. So give me Robinson. If Golladay was the only option here, I would smash on him. But I'll take this value here of Robinson in the 305 and feeling really good as a kind of a start to my wide receiver core here.
I like that pick.
Yeah, and there goes Mahomes at the 306. So that was my kind of last chance to take him. Do not really have anything to say against that Mahomes pick there.
Yeah, and after Mahomes went at the 306, we saw Kenny G, Juju, Odell, Thielen, Keenan Allen, and Melvin Gordon wrap up the third round.
Big receiver run there.
And then in round 4, we saw Andrews and Ertz go back-to-back at 401 and 402.
All right.
And then Amari Cooper, Le'Veon Bell, Calvin Ridley, David Johnson, and Courtland Sutton. So this is kind of consistent with the theme we've been seeing in mocks, Steph, is that round 3, round 4 is that time where all those low-end wide receiver 1s and wide receiver 2s start going off the board. So round 3 and 4 is really a prime time to scoop up your receivers because if you wait, they could be gone if you try to wait until round 5 or 6.
So my thought process here, it's back to me at the 408 spot. My roster right now is Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Allen Robinson. So just looking at my roster here, I'm thinking, look, can I get another great wide receiver depending on who's on the board to really shore up that wide receiver core? Is there a running back that I can take to kind of hedge against CEH potentially getting worked into the offense slowly? Because that's something that is in the range of outcomes. As high as I am on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, there is a world where he is kind of getting eased in. They're not trying to rush him back quick, shortened offseason for rookies. They haven't had their minicamp, etc. Let's see if I need to hedge against that. The fact that Andrews and Ertz are already taken off the board is, to me, it says I'm punting the tight end position. I'll wait till my last, 4 or 5 picks to even consider tight end. And an incredible value just fell to me. Actually, 2 guys. And this will be an interesting one, Alex.
I'm really upset that your draft is going so well. Like, Zeke fell to you, Allen Robinson fell to you, and now the 2 Rams wide receivers are sitting there. And I swear if you take one of them and this team 4 takes the other, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, team 4 is out to get me. They took Michael Thomas to give you Zeke. They sniped Aaron Jones from me.
Look,
this is upsetting.
Let's talk about this real quick because I think this is something that we can have a segment. I'm sure we will, kind of talking about the ADP battles here between Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Right now in our census rankings, we have Kupp at the wide receiver 14 and Robert Woods at the 15. So it looks like the expert consensus rankings agree with us in having these 2 names back to back. Who are you taking of these 2?
I think Cooper Kupp has more upside of these 2, but if I was on the clock where you are right now, I'd actually probably take Robert Woods. What kind of sucks is I'm giving you the guy I'd rather have, and you're probably going to take him. But Robert Woods, to me, especially as a wide receiver 2 in your case, it provides a much higher floor. He's a receptions guy. He might not get as many touchdowns and blow up games, but he can. He's done it in the past, and he's just very consistent. The targets are going to be there. So I lean Robert Woods. If you need upside, like right now, if it were me, I don't have a wide receiver. So do I want Woods as my wide receiver 1? Maybe I take Kupp there. But in a vacuum, like if I'm having to choose between these 2, not considering roster construction, in full PPR, I'm taking Robert Woods.
Yeah, Woods is my pick. I have him extremely high. I have him as the
of course you took
wide receiver 11. You have him at the wide receiver 20. I think yours is more reasonable. He'll probably land somewhere between there. I'm just extremely high on Bobby Trees this year, so I'm smashing on him.
Yeah, I need to bump him up a little bit in my rankings. He's a little bit too low right now. I actually have Kupp in front of him. I think that's going to change before the season gets here, or they're going to be a lot closer than they are now.
So it looks like after I took Robert Woods, that team between us took Chris Carson. So give you a little a layup there, and you get to take Cooper Kupp.
That makes it easy for me. I'll go ahead. I'm not even going to deliberate here. We just talked about it. I'll take Cooper Kupp, which in this situation, knowing that Kupp is my wide receiver 1, I don't mind that one bit. Feeling really good about getting Cooper Kupp here at the back of the 4th round.
After you took Kupp, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, so more wide receivers taken in the 3rd and 4th round. We open up the 5th round with David Montgomery, Deshaun Watson at the 502, and then back to you at the 503. Let's pause for a second and go over your roster here. You have Alvin Kamara and Todd Gurley as your 2 running backs. You have Cooper Kupp and then Travis Kelce. So are you looking at wide receiver 2 right now?
Yeah, this is a wide receiver for me for sure. And my strategy's actually paid off. I took Kelce early, knowing I was going to get 2 guys in that wide receiver 2 range. Kupp, actually, I'm surprised got to me at the back of the 4th round where he did. And now, as my wide receiver 2, I'm looking at names like Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker, DJ Chark, T.Y. Hilton, Metcalf, Diggs, Landry. There's tons of guys here I feel great about as my wide receiver 2. So picking one here at the start of the 5th round, it feels really good. So just looking at my rankings, I have Terry McLaurin, he's off the board. That kind of stinks. I'm big on him this year. But Tyler Lockett's my wide receiver 15. Chark is my wide receiver 17. So those are the 2 names that I'm thinking about here. And I'm going to go ahead and lock in. Oh, this is tough. We went with Lockett last time. I'm going to go ahead and pick him here. I think Russell Wilson is going to get a little bit more pass volume this season. So locking up Tyler Lockett as my wide receiver 2 feels really, really good.
Yeah, and he has plenty of upside too. Like, he's been very efficient his entire season. I'm pretty sure he's had 5+ touchdowns every single year that he's been in there. And, I mean, we've seen incredible plays, those toe taps back of the end zone and Russell Wilson scrambling around. I think that's a tremendous pick there. And then the other option fell to me. Devontae Parker was taken at the 504 after you, and there's DJ Chark sitting on the board. Now, for me, my roster at this point is Ezekiel.
You're about to pick Jonathan Taylor.
So let me talk through this for a second. So I have Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Allen Robinson, and Robert Woods. Part of me wishes that I had taken a running back last round like a Melvin Gordon, a Le'Veon Bell, or even Jonathan Taylor, even though he is still here on the board. But Chark to me,
I mean, you didn't have that luxury. All those guys were gone except Taylor.
exactly. I mean, Chark is sitting there, and right now the debate for me is Chark, Jonathan Taylor. But the fact that those two are still there, let me see. I mean, I have, a whole round between my next pick, so it's not like a guy's going to fall to me here. This is kind of one of those points where I have to take my guy, and considering where I have Chark, we have him in our consensus rankings of the wide receiver 16. I have him at the wide receiver 13. I talked about on our deep shots of the year episode how much I believe in the garbage time and the volume and the fantasy relevance that Gardner Minshew is going to have, and a big part of that is DJ Chark. The fact that I have CEH makes me want to stay away from Jonathan Taylor. Like, do I want to take two guys that are elite talents, but there's a world where they get eased in or they're not used or they're in a big timeshare? Like, I just don't want to be stuck in that position. Maybe if Mark Ingram falls back to me, I don't think he will, but if he does, I'll be really, really happy about it. But I'm actually going to take DJ Chark here and feel great about my receiver core and my flex spot, especially because the Jaguars have a really easy schedule after the first 2 weeks. So I want to start strong. And I think Chark is going to be the main beneficiary of all the garbage time and volume that's going to be going around in Jacksonville. And after I took Chark, we saw...
I just have to say, I hate how good your team looks right now. It hurts. So after Chark, we saw Waller, Metcalf, Boyd, James Conner went at the 509. Then we saw, I'm telling you, these receivers are going in that fifth round, third, fourth, fifth round. T.Y. Hilton at the 5'10". Russell Wilson, A.J. Green close out round 5. Looks like one of your guys actually fell to you, Steph. Diggs at the 601, followed by Mostert, Kyler Murray, Evan Ingram, Dak Prescott, Tyler Higbee at the 606.
Dang.
Did you program that into this draft to make sure I wasn't going to get him in like my flex or something?
Right.
That's crazy. Tyler Higbee at the 606. And then Debo at the 607. Steph, you are back on the board, and Jonathan Taylor and Mark Ingram are both still available.
Wow. This is putting me on the spot a little bit here. I was given a layup in the fact that Tyler Higbee was taken at the 606 and that Debo went that early. Probably Debo in a real life draft is going to go in the 7th or 8th round. I don't see him going that high, but who knows? Maybe you got a Debo truther or a 49ers fan in your draft somewhere. Look, it's Ingram or Taylor as my RB3. At this point, I think I want to take the upside on Jonathan Taylor because I feel I feel like I can get another name later, like a Kareem Hunt, a Cam Akers. Even if I want to wait way later, maybe grab a name like Ronald Jones, Jordan Howard, James White later on. I mean, Jarvis Landry, Julian Edelman, Michael Gallup at wide receiver. None of those get me really, really excited. And I already grabbed Chark last round. I have 3 wide receivers. So, look, I'm going to take the other upside rookie shot here in JT, and I'm going to snipe him from you because I know you want him. And now I'm going to put you in a really tough spot.
I know.
With
this is a
Ingram
double-edged
pick.
sword. Please, I hope Team 4 just takes Ingram. I really do because, brother.
He
so
took
now,
Austin Hooper.
Not only do you take my guy and Jonathan Taylor, but I've been talking down Mark Ingram all offseason, and here I am with him available to be my RB3, which I don't have to start him every week. I mean, I guess he'd be my flex right now, but if I pick up a receiver later, that's probably who I'm starting in that flex spot. Wow, this is tough. This is really tough. At the running back spot, it's Ingram. Kareem Hunt is also there. And then at the receiver spot, Jarvis Landry is on the board. And that's another name that you actually comped Mark Ingram, I believe, to a Jarvis Landry when we talked about him last pod or a couple podcasts ago, where it's not like the sexiest name, but it's a guy who produces every single season. And under the radar, he's always putting up numbers. I'm actually going to go away from Mark Ingram. I cannot draft him as a top 24 running back or a top 25 running back here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jarvis Landry to fill in my flex spot. As my RB3, I think there's guys with Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers on the board, players with upside there that I could get next round. There's only a couple picks between my next selection. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jarvis Landry as my flex guy and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, and you're not going to have to worry about a quarterback getting sniped from you later on because the two teams at this turn here are Lamar Jackson. I already have Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. So right after you took Jarvis, which you're probably pretty happy that you got him when you did because there was another receiver run that happened here. DeAndre Swift went at the 611, and then Julian Edelman, Michael Pittman at the 701, and then Michael Gallup at the 702. So back to you at the 703. Right now you have Alvin Kamara, Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, Travis Kelce, and Jarvis Landry. So it looks like now you get your pick of the litter in terms of that RB3. And if I'm not mistaken here, Mark Ingram is still on the board.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm glad Kareem Hunt is here because if he wasn't, I'd be in a tougher spot with, the 28th, 29th running back off the board and Mark Ingram because I have him right around that running back 30 range. But I'm going to go ahead and take Kareem Hunt. He's a guy I find myself drafting a lot because he gives you some standalone value as a really good running back 3. And then he also has that upside if something were to happen to Nick Chubb or he got any full-time starts. And there's still that word going around in Cleveland that Kareem Hunt could be their third wide receiver. So I think there's a lot of snaps and a lot of targets that will come Kareem Hunt's way. I think he's super valuable. I feel great about him as my third running back.
Yeah, he's been one that we look at. I mean, pretty much every mock that we've run, it's like we're looking at Kareem Hunt in that range, and we're usually taking him just because he's an option that you can feel very safe with. He's probably the safest of all the guys in this range, outside of maybe like James White. And you're getting, touchdown upside weekly with Kareem Hunt. You're getting, that ground volume
Stef,
too. So
I am so upset right now because at the 5:05, you had this deliberation between DJ Chark, Jonathan Taylor, or Mark Ingram. And you decided to go with Chark. And then at the 6:08, you end up getting Taylor, who somehow fell back to you. And now at the 7:05, you're going to get Mark Ingram. What the heck is going on?
It's an easy send for me. I have Mark Ingram as an RB2. I don't think
this is unreal.
Ingram's finished in the top. He's finished as an RB1 5 of the last 6 seasons. And I'm getting a guy essentially an RB1 in the best rushing offense in the league. He's going to have touchdown opportunity. And if the Ravens do take a step up, that's even more carries and efficiency all going to Ingram. And then if they're worse, then we're going to get more check down volume. We're going to get more receiving work too. Yes, the J.K. Dobbins pick does scare me a little bit, but to me it seems like he's going to be the heir apparent. Mark Ingram is a guy that I can plug in, especially early on in the season. Like, I don't think they're going to work J.K. Dobbins in right away. So if Edwards-Helaire or Jonathan Taylor aren't paying off for me early, now I have Ingram here, and I'm feeling fantastic about my running back room.
This sucks. Your draft is going way too well. I like my team too. I'm not going to lie, but
it's
your
not
team
bad,
really
dude.
good.
Your receiver core is like the safest guys that you can get in each of their respective tiers, and then you got Kareem Hunt as well. So I think you have a safe team, and then Kamara and Kelce give you that weekly upside.
After Mark Ingram, we saw Will Fuller come off the board at the 7:06. That's too early for my blood. Carson Wentz, Hollywood Brown, Josh Allen, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb at the 7:11. That is an early pick on CeeDee Lamb compared to what we've been seeing. We actually just did a Deep Shots of the Year episode where I have CeeDee Lamb as one of my deep shots with an ADP in the 10th round. I wouldn't be surprised with CD, with someone with as much star power and excitement as he has, to creep up in ADP as we get closer to the season. Even for me, with him as a deep shot of the year, I don't know that the 7-11 is where I'd want to be taking him. If he is my wide receiver 4 there, then maybe I do like him better than Cooks, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, Will Fuller, some of those names around him. But really interesting to see him going that early. And then Matt Ryan to close out the 7th round. Round 8, Steelers defense, Kerryon Johnson, Deontay Johnson, James White, Marvin Jones at the 8:05 is a great value. Keyshawn Vaughn and Cam Akers. Steph, you are back on the clock.
So I'm back on the clock here. I have 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, no tight end, no quarterback. So let's see. At this point, everybody is available for me. Drew Brees is sitting there at the QB position. I feel confident enough that I can grab a quarterback late, especially now that we have like Cam Newton's now in the mix too. So just even adding to more of kind of the deeper quarterbacks that you can take. If there's a run that happens, I feel comfortable waiting even more on quarterbacks. So let me put quarterback to the side for now. In terms of tight end, I'm looking at Hunter Henry here. I just can't gamble on the health. Jared Cook could be a value, as could Hayden Hurst and Gronk. But for me, I'm just one of those guys that I'm willing to punt the tight end position. I like streaming the tight end position just based on the matchups. I trust that in season I'm going to have a feel for where these offenses are, where the weaknesses are in the different defenses, and be able to stream fairly well. So when I look at my running back options, it's Darius Geis, who I'm not gambling on the health there. Tariq Cohen, Matt Breida, Phillip Lindsay, Damian Williams, and then 2 guys that I think could fall back to me here as I'm at the 8:08, so I get another pick at the 9:05. So not a ton of guys picking before my next pick. I feel like I can get Ronald Jones or Jordan Howard. I'm sure you might take one of those. So in terms of wide receivers here, one that really stands out to me, the first one is Christian Kirk. He's an upside wide receiver. He's a guy that, I'm not going to be relying on him to be in my lineup. If we see DeAndre Hopkins come in and take all the underneath stuff and things open up for Christian Kirk deep downfield, we saw some of the explosiveness. We saw the upside last season. Other names I would look at here would actually be Sterling Shepard. I keep talking about this on every mock that we run. Shepard was the alpha last year when all the weapons were there on the field in New York. We all believe in Danny Dimes. So if Kirk was already taken here, if we were a couple picks later, I would be okay taking Sterling Shepard, but I'm actually going to take the upside shot here on Christian Kirk. Other names I was looking at here, these are all pretty much upside shots. Marvin Jones, Marquise Brown, Will Fuller, Brandon Cook. So I'm getting kind of the last name on this like high upside, deep threat receiver range. So I'm going to take Christian Kirk here to kind of shore up that wide receiver core as a weekly flex or wide receiver 2 option when I'm in a pinch.
I like the pick, and then between oh my gosh, I was gonna take Ronald Jones. Like I had it locked in, and literally Team 4 screwed me over again and took Ronald Jones. I have Ronald Jones as this is gonna be a hot take. If we do a sleepers episode, I will probably have Ronald Jones in there. He's my running back 25 right now, which is actually very surprising. I have him in front of Mostert, in front of James White, in front of Jordan Howard, in front of Mark Ingram, which I know is a hot take, but I think Ronald Jones is going to have a good year. That sucks, man, that he just got drafted there. So now I've got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and my tight end. So I'm really looking at another running back or a wide receiver here. At the running back position, I like Jordan Howard. I think I'm leaning that way. He's one of the last probably full starters. Sony Michel is there as well. Darius Geis, you can make an argument he's the starter. And then at the receiver spot, Darius Slayton sticks out to me, but there's a lot of guys here that I think are, lottery tickets. Anthony Miller, I like a decent amount. Jamison Crowder's there for some stability. So I'm going to wait on the wide receiver spot. I'm going to lock in Jordan Howard as another guy who should get work this season. The Dolphins did upgrade their offensive line. Matt Breida is there as well, but Jordan Howard's been really good in fantasy. He's still only 25 years old, so I feel good about him as my running back 4. And after Howard went Devontae Freeman, Antonio Brown. So 2 guys without teams went here at the end of the 8th. And then Preston Williams, Henry Ruggs started out the 9th. So I'm going to go ahead and take Darius Slayton. He's got upside in this Giants offense. Daniel Jones loves throwing the ball down the field. He could be a plug-and-play guy if I need upside. Jarvis Landry's a little bit more stable, but if Darius Slayton starts popping off, I think he could be a really good asset. So I'm going to lock in Darius Slayton here in round 9.
He was my pick if he fell to me. So after you took Slayton, Darius Geis went off the board, not even a name that I was looking at. So now back to me at the 9:05. So let's see who's available here. It's another one where I have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers. So, the way this draft is going, I may look at quarterback or tight end at this point, but still Hunter Henry has not been taken. Jared Cook has not been taken. Hayden Hurst and Gronk are still there. I feel comfortable to continue to wait at the tight end spot and grab a name later on. Drew Brees is sitting there. And this is actually one that, I'm sitting here in the 9th round. 10th round is probably when I'm looking at high-value handcuffs. So I actually think I'm going to shore up my quarterback spot and grab
Drew Brees in round 9 is a steal.
Drew Brees in the 9th. Drew Brees is as consistent as they come. He could finish in the top 5. He's hyper accurate. He's almost shoe-in for over 20 touchdowns every single season, has the upside to throw 30 touchdowns, and I don't see any reason why the Saints are going to regress. So I'm going to take Drew Brees here to really shore up.
This is why you wait on a quarterback. That's a great pick. This is why you wait on a quarterback this year.
After I took Drew Brees, we had John Brown, 49ers defense, Emmanuel Sanders, Matt Breida, Anthony Miller, Sony Michel, Damian Williams rounds out the 9th here, and then in the 10th round, Jerry Jeudy, Robbie Anderson, Mike Williams, Tariq Cohen, Jamison Crowder, Darrell Henderson, and Phillip Lindsay. So now we're getting into some lottery ticket, high upside wide receivers. I think Jerry Jeudy at the 10:01 there. I think that team's going to be pretty happy with that pick, especially if Jeudy pans out, of course. And then grabbing names like Jamison Crowder here in the 10th round, like you're getting them as safe as they come at the wide receiver position all the way in the 10th. So now it's back to me here at the 10:08. And I've said this every time. I'm going to continue to preach it. Take your high-value handcuffs in the 10th round. With this year, the wacky season, shortened off season, COVID-19, all this craziness going on, you just got to grab that insurance policy, and you're going to feel really good about it. You're not going to be sad that you grabbed a handcuff a round or two earlier than you should have when crazy things pop off. So I'm going to grab Tony Pollard here at the 10:08. Just grab that handcuff for Ezekiel Elliott, and there were other names ahead of him on the draft board. I'm okay with that. I don't want to take the upside shot on J.K. Dobbins. I already have 2 other rookie running backs. Tevin Coleman is there, which I think is an interesting one. But I'm going to take Tony Pollard. It's barely been my strategy all year long. I see Sterling Shepard there staring at me on the board, but
I mean, Boston Scott is there. We talked about him on an earlier podcast. He could have some value as a handcuff. Alexander Mattison, Latavius Murray, all on the board. For me, in this case, Sterling Shepard went after the Pollard pick. I have 4 running backs. I have 4 wide receivers. I've got my tight end in Kelce. So now everything's available. I could go quarterback. I could go with a handcuff. Latavius Murray feels really good right now because I do have Alvin Kamara at running back. Oh, it's tough, though, because I look at Tevin Coleman there, and here Fantasy Pros has him as the running back 42, where in my rankings I have Tevin Coleman as my running back 31. People are forgetting just how involved he was for a lot of the season before he really got hurt there midway through the year in San Francisco. Never really seemed to bounce back from that. Actually had a 2-touchdown game as well in the playoffs. So Tevin Coleman, to me, we talk about high-value handcuffs. Tevin Coleman has serious standalone value in this offense and will have good games. But also think about if Raheem Mostert misses time and Tevin Coleman is the feature back in this offense. No, I don't think Shanahan is necessarily going to have a bell cow running back. But if Raheem Mostert is out, Tevin Coleman is going to be that lead back and see a lot more work. So I see Tevin Coleman as not only a high-value handcuff, but someone with standalone value, even sharing that backfield with Raheem Mostert.
And
having said that, I'm going to take Latavius Murray.
Wow, and I think Coleman could fall back to you, and I think he just did. One thing that, the Coleman pick, if you had picked him there, I wouldn't have not blamed you at all, just based on your roster construction. You like Todd Gurley is your RB2. That's a little bit shaky. You did grab some safe options in Kareem Hunt and Jordan Howard there, but why not take another gamble on a name that you're still feeling kind of shaky? Why not just grab Tevin Coleman as that upside shot? He could be a lottery ticket type of guy. But, we talk about 10th round, you got to grab him this year. And now Coleman's fell back to you here after you took Latavius. We had the Bills defense, Justin Jefferson, who I was hoping was going to fall to me at the 11:05, Rob Gronkowski, Marlon Mack, and then back to you at the 11:03. So what are you looking at here after you just took Latavius Murray in the 10th?
Yeah, I feel really good about Latavius there because it does give me some stability. Todd Gurley is my RB2. His health is always a question, and Alvin Kamara was banged up last year. So getting Latavius Murray makes me feel really good about locking up that one running back spot. I do feel a little bit running back heavy here if I go Tevin Coleman. I'm going to do it anyway. I'll have Kamara, Gurley, Kareem Hunt, Jordan Howard, Latavius Murray, and Tevin Coleman. You can never really have enough running backs in fantasy football. So I'm going to take Tevin Coleman here. I do have some depth at wide receiver with Landry and Slayton. So with that last bench spot, I do need a quarterback as well. But I can take a late round wide receiver for my last bench spot after I take a quarterback. So I'm going to lock up Tevin Coleman and feel really, really good about the running backs I have on my roster.
Yeah, I love that. For your roster construction, this is why we do these mocks. You're seeing the type of way that a draft can go. You got sniped on a couple names. Your RB2s, is a little bit weak, compared to name you could have had there. So you had to take Todd Gurley because he was just the one who fell to you. So look, this is kind of the game you play when you take, a Travis Kelce in the back of the second round. I still feel great about, if I'm sitting there with your running back core, I don't feel terrible about it. I actually feel pretty good. So for your roster construction specifically, I think Coleman is the optimal pick to go with there. And now it's back to me at the 11:05. Mike Gesicki was...
Hunter Henry is available in the 11th round. Let me just throw that out.
And the thing is, I'm probably still not going to take him. So
I wouldn't take him either. Yeah, I wouldn't take him either.
Let me pull up my rankings real quickly because I want to see where I have Hunter Henry at. Also, I want to take a look at some of the other tight end names here like Hayden Hurst. So we have Hunter Henry as our census tight end 9. We have Hayden Hurst as our census tight end 8. So in our rankings, we do have Hurst a spot higher. We have Noah Fant at the 10th as well. Blake Jarwin, that's a guy that I talked about in my Deep Shots of the Year episode. That is a guy that I am extremely high on when we punt the tight end position. So let me take a look at what other names are here on the board. I'm sure there's some upside wide receivers I could consider. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is there, but I already have Mark Ingram, and I don't really want to play that game on my bench of who to start, and I don't really want to hold a guy in that spot for 8 weeks if Ingram really is the starter and everything's operating, firing at all cylinders. So at wide receiver, the options here are Golden Tate, Jalen Reagor, McCole Hardman, Curtis Samuel, N'Keal Harry. And then Brashad Perriman and Deshaun Jackson, also ones that I'm looking at, but I think I can get them a little later. At running back, J.K. Dobbins, Duke Johnson, Alexander Madison, Nyheim Hines, Zach Moss. Names I'm not excited about really here. So, look, to me, based on my rankings and where I feel really good is with a tight end and a dirt cutter system in the offense that passed the ball the most in the NFL last year with the Atlanta Falcons. They were over 50 pass attempts more than the team that was second in the NFL in pass attempts. So I think the volume's going to be there. We love Hurst as like a sleeper this year. He's again, tight end 8 in our census ranking, so we're both pretty high on him. So I'm actually going to grab Hayden Hurst here just because none of the other names at running back and receiver really stand out to me. I already have a quarterback in Drew Brees, so I'm going to take Hayden Hurst and feel really good about waiting for my tight end spot, and may even take another one like a Blake Jarwin, a Jonnu Smith later on, depending on how the rest of this draft goes.
Your team is really good.
Well, thank you. Well, after I took Hurst, we had a bunch of these upside wide receiver shots go off the board. Jack Doyle was sniped. I don't know if you were considering him later on. I know we're both pretty high on Jack Doyle. He was taken already, but that means there's a couple names still left for you. McCole Hardman, Deshaun Jackson right off the board at the 11:06 and 11:07. After I took Hayden Hurst at the 11:05, then Jack Doyle, Jalen Reagor, Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry finally went at the 11:10. Alexander Madison, Nyheim Hines, J.K. Dobbins, Golden Tate, Darrington Evans, Noah Fant, Justin Jackson, Zach Moss, Antonio Gibson. So it seems like all the upside flyers at running back are taken. We're getting into some of the pretty gross, deep names at wide receiver. Tons of tight end options that I think are streamer or above tier type of guys. But now it's back to me at the 12:08. At this point in my draft, I'm looking at deep sleepers, names that I think could take over. I already have a quarterback and a tight end. Let me see what quarterbacks are here. I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton are all names still here for me in the 12th round. So looking
crazy.
back on it, it's like I could have waited and not taken Drew Brees there. Maybe grabbed a name like Darius Slayton earlier in the draft. But hindsight's 2020. I think I'm looking at a wide receiver deep shot here. I feel pretty good at running back and wide receiver, so I'm not desperate. But I think I'm going to take the upside shot on Brashad Perriman at this point.
Wow. I thought you were about to take the guy I was going to take, and I was going to be so pissed. But great pick. Yeah, take Perriman. Go ahead and click on
Okay,
it
now
before I
I'm
give away
questioning the Perriman pick. I have not hit the draft button yet.
Oh no.
No, it's fine. I am going to take
like
Perriman.
this. I was going to take Deshaun Hamilton.
Likely story. Look, I'm taking Perriman here. Just the upside shot. All the names here are pretty gross. So give me Perriman as a guy he's kind of the proven commodity in that wide receiver room. How much do I trust Denzel Mims, the rookie, to come in? And Sam Darnold has shown his upside at times. If for some reason, somehow, some way, the Jets offense could get going, I want the guy who fits into that Robbie Anderson role and more in Brashad Perriman. We saw him be explosive with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a 4 or 5 game stretch last season. So just give me Perriman as that upside shot. Might end up being really happy with it. If I'm not, I can just cut him.
It's a good pick. After Perriman went Duke Johnson, and now I'll take my receiver. This is going to round out my bench. I'm actually going to finish off my bench before I take a quarterback, which is kind of insane. But I'm going to take your deep shot of the year at the receiver spot, Steph. Randall Cobb. He's being forgotten about. I'm getting him here in the, what round
12.
are we in? Like the 12th, 13th round? 12th round, I'm getting Randall Cobb on my bench. He got a big contract this offseason, 3-year, $27 million, I believe. And he's going to be my 5th wide receiver, should see targets in this offense, and should have some flex appeal during bye weeks and things like that. So I don't mind if Randall Cobb one bit at the 12-10.
I love it, man.
After Cobb went Chase Edmonds, Boston Scott, AP, and Curtis Samuel. I'm back on the clock here at the 13:03, and I will go ahead and take a quarterback. And literally, I'm in the 13th round, and I have my choice of Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, Big Ben, Cam Newton, Baker Mayfield, Tannehill, Jared Goff, Burrow, Cousins.
Wow.
13th round. I don't know why anyone would take a quarterback until double-digit rounds this year. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to go with, let me look at my rankings. I think I know who the risky pick is. I actually have Daniel Jones as my quarterback 9, which is a bit of a hot take, but I'm looking at these names, and I really like Matt Stafford. He sticks out to me here to be a little bit safer at the quarterback spot. I know Daniel Jones opens up with a really tough schedule, so he might be on the waiver wire I'm going to lock in Matt Stafford as my starting quarterback in the 13th round. Unbelievable.
Wow. Nice. Very well done. Very well done.
Matt Stafford in the 13th round, and Aaron Rodgers, I left on the board. It looks like he went right after me, but so much value there at the quarterback spot.
And now I get my pick of the litter at a quarterback upside shot, and two of my upside quarterbacks are here. We talked about it right after the 2019 season ended, who these upside guys are going to be, and Daniel Jones is one that we've been preaching about. We love him as a high volume, high yardage guy. Yes, he could be a little bit boom bust. The wheels have fallen off at times, but Daniel Jones was on pace last year to throw for over 4,000 yards. If all the weapons can stay healthy in New York, he could be a top 6 quarterback in fantasy. Say what you want about the guy, but I'm taking Daniel Jones here as this upside shot to pair with Drew Brees, and I'm going to feel great about that.
That's a great pick. That's a great selection. You kind of get the old consistency with Drew Brees and then the young new hotness in Daniel Jones. After Daniel Jones, the 13th round, Jared Cook and TJ Hawkinson off the board.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then Anthony McFarland, Jared Goff, Carlos Hyde, Joshua Kelly at the 13-11. Interesting to see him being drafted. Then Denzel Mims closes out the 13th round. And in round 14, look at these quarterbacks in the 13th and 14th round. Stafford, Rodgers, Jones, Goff. And now we see Baker go off the board. A run of defenses, and then Big Ben. So, Steph, we don't even need to pick defenses here. If we don't want to, we can just throw some in there to wrap up this draft. But unbelievable that quarterbacks are going this late. Every time I'm so shocked. I think last mock we did, Wentz went in like the 11th or 12th round, which is just unbelievable.
Jonnu Smith, Blake Jarwin, even some other names that some people are high on. And then Cam Newton's still here.
It's crazy. I'm just going to snag Eagles D to wrap it up. Oh my grade is hot. Oh my gosh, I've never.
What'd you get? I got an A actually, so I must be pretty in line with Fantasy Pros ADP.
I'm normally rocking like a B-, and I just got an A plus 97 out of 100.
Wow.
I don't know what triggered that, because to be honest with you, I love your team, but we killed it, Steph. Nice work. Let me read off my roster really quick, then we can run down yours, and we'll throw this up on Twitter and Instagram as a poll, get some feedback for which roster people like better in this mock battle. But here's my final roster. My quarterback is Matt Stafford. At the running back position, I have Alvin Kamara and Todd Gurley. On my bench, I have Kareem Hunt, Jordan Howard, Tevin Coleman, and Latavius Murray. A lot of great depth there. At the receiver position, I'm feeling good too. Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, Jarvis Landry, Darius Slayton, and Randall Cobb. Locked up the probable tight end one. He's done it the last 4 seasons in Travis Kelce. And then I threw in the Eagles defense as well.
Yeah, and they play the Redskins week 1, so it should be start the streaming off early, beat everybody to the waivers, grab Eagles D. For my team here, I want to hear y'all's feedback. I got Drew Brees at quarterback. Also have Danny Dimes, and then I got Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, and Mark Ingram. On top of that, I got the handcuff at Tony Pollard. So I hit a gold mine when it comes to running backs. Yep. In this mock that we just ran, having both CEH and Jonathan Taylor, I feel great about. The average, finish of a running back drafted in the first round in fantasy is as an RB2 or RB1, over 250 carries that you hit on him about 60% of the time. And Jonathan Taylor was taken early in the second. We could round up and say he was a first-round guy if we want to. I think everybody believes in the pedigree, the profile, everything that Jonathan Taylor is bringing to the Colts behind one of the most elite offensive lines in the league. So I feel great having both of those upside rookies at running back. And then at wide receiver, I feel pretty good as well. We have Allen Robinson, Robert Woods, DJ Chark, Christian Kirk, and Brashard Perriman. So, I feel really, really good about this team. Hayden Hurst rounds out my tight end spot. I'm probably going to stream the tight end throughout the season. Same thing with the defense, which I did not take. Man, this was a blast. I think we learned a lot about when to take certain names, how to play the different ways that you can get sniped. And, we got into some unique situations that we haven't really gotten into on any other mocks that we've ran. But, Alex, if you could change one thing about your draft, what would it be?
Man, it's tough because the one thing that came to mind while we were actually drafting was maybe I shouldn't have taken Kelce there at the 210, and maybe I should have taken a Mike Evans or Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay at the receiver spot. But I ended up with a pretty good receiver core of Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, and Jarvis Landry. So, if I could change one thing, maybe I would go back and see what my team looks like if you take out Kelce. But I actually love how my receiver core turned out. So this draft, I think for both of us, and according to Fantasy Pros, it's one of the best grades I've gotten. So they seem to like it too, and it sounds like they did for yours as well, Steph. This draft really fell well for both of us. I really liked drafting from the 3 spot. I hope I get that luxury a lot this season. But not a lot I would change. Maybe the tight end early, but outside of that, things went pretty well. What about you?
The only thing I think I would change, and I got blessed here time and time again at the running back spot. All of these names just kept falling to me, so nothing I would change in terms of that. And then I feel great at the wide receiver core that I have as well. I have like a stud in Allen Robinson, and then 2 consistent 2s with upside with Woods and Chark. So not anything I would change in the wide receiver room. The only thing I would say is maybe waiting a little bit longer on that Drew Brees pick. Probably could have waited till 13th, 14th round to grab a quarterback. Maybe could have grabbed names like Big Ben and then take the upside shot on Joe Burrow, something like that, or grab Aaron Rodgers in the 13th.
Yeah, you really just plugged your boy there.
I got to keep it going. Keep this Burrow hype train on the tracks. Alex, anything else to add here before we sign off?
Only other thing to add, if you happen to catch this on Twitter, again, that's at Double Move Sport, be sure to throw my team a vote because we all know my team is much better than Steph's. We're going to love to see that feedback. And there's going to be a ton of additional mock draft battles coming before the season. These are a lot of fun as ADPs change, things like that. We're going to keep drafting, keep switching up our draft position, and bring you guys value as we get closer to the draft. So throw my team a vote. You know you want to. You know you love the boys, Kamara and Gurley and Kelce there in the first 3 rounds. So just had to plug myself there really quick. Vote for Alex.
We'll see who wins this one, guys. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. If you like the show, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That is huge for us. And hit that thumbs up button as well. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.